Okay, we are going to get started. Welcome to this new moon circle honoring the annular solar eclipse in Libra and just the new moon energy and Libra lunar cycle. Of course, right now we are live in the 13 Moons membership, but if you happen to be catching the recording, I just want to welcome you into this circle as well. Even though you are catching the recording, this is the ether that we are transmitting through and it withstands time. So it's as if you're here live right now with me. And if this happens to be your first time live, I just wanted to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Vina Lene Rachel. I am a moon priestess, an intuitive, a channeler of the divine. That is what my spiritual name, Vina, means. And I've been leading these moon circles for about 7 or 8 years at this point, maybe a little longer. I always lose track of time because I've been on multiple outlets for these circles, everything from Zoom to YouTube, Instagram. Here we're in the membership now, and this is where I offer the circles exclusively, but I do offer edited recordings of these circles and I place those on my website and my YouTube and my podcast. But if you are here live with 13 Moons, you get the unedited full length version of the recording in your membership. If you are not a member and you're curious about the differences, well, every new moon and full moon we meet, or at least as much as we can every new moon and full moon, we circle up for not only this time to discuss the moon and the astrology at hand, do tarot readings, maybe discuss elements and tools that you can work with right now, but I also lead members through different magical practices. And in fact, that is what season 2 of 13 Moons is all about. We are coming up on the 1 year anniversary of my digital astrology membership. And in this second round or second year with the membership, we are really emphasizing magic. I am working to interweave the magic into the modern, to combine the concepts of astrology and the mystical, because they do go hand in hand. And if you are gathering under full moons, you are probably going to want to do some sort of magical practice, but I try to do practices with every new moon and full moon circle that we hold. So tonight our practices are going to, as my throat chakra gets a little clogged up, let me clear that actually. There we go. But as we move into this new moon circle tonight, we will do some pranayama practices, breathwork practices, and also a chanting practice. So interesting that my throat chakra locked up a little bit there, but that is the plan tonight. And that will be for 13 Moons members only. So we'll do that towards the end of our circle. Also, we will do individual tarot card pulls for all 13 Moons members tonight, just to give you a little bit of extra guidance with this eclipse. There is a lot of energy at hand with this lunar cycle, and you might get a little bit of extra help from the cards. But I also have a collective reading. So if you're here for the tarot, I have that as well for just the collective to give you some extra guidance, as well as maybe some messages around the past, present, and future. So before we go any deeper, let's take a moment to drop in and just take 3 deep breaths together. I love to do this to simply ground. Whenever you're ready, deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just letting go at the bottom, breathing more if you have to, but shaking it out, loosening up, really feeling the ground beneath you. Let's do that again. Deep breath in through the nose. Maybe you can get even more breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth, maybe with some sound. Just vibrating that vagus nerve, turning on relaxation response, helping you to focus more into the present. And on this final breath, I'm going to reach my arms all the way overhead. Just take a nice stretch. If you'd like to join me, go ahead. Deep breath in and exhale, let it all go. feeling gravity take over to hold you here. We are in a new moon portal, which means that Earth's gravity is slightly stronger right now. And although we won't really notice it if we stepped on a scale, we will feel that subtle energetic shift in our body. We might feel a little heavier right now, a little bit more grounded, a little tired, unmotivated, lethargic, uninspired, just a little case of the blahs. And if you have that going on, just know that that's perfectly normal. You might also have some bodily discomforts right now. You might feel restless in your energy because of the eclipse. We'll talk about that in a moment. But just in general, this extra gravity, it's pulling us down into our earthly human body as well. So we might really be aware of our body right now and just physical things going on, or maybe you are more sensitive and can sense some of these energetic imbalances if you have those going on right now. You might also really be in that earthly human experience, and in the theme of gravity, it can sometimes be a drag, right? Like you might be leaning into more of the negative, lower frequencies right now. We have a lot of water energy playing on the cosmos, and we're going to talk about that tonight. But if you're in your feelings right now, know that that is normal for any new moon, but especially right now with this eclipsed moon. Now, what does this mean? Well, we have the sun and the moon coming together in a conjunction, and that always happens when we're in the new moon. It's also why we can't see the moon right now. If I'm the earth and my head is the earth, we have both the sun and the moon over here together. So the moon is in between the sun, it's blocking the sun's light, and we can't see where the sun is hitting the moon right now. It appears very dark outside, and that makes us feel more tired because darkness is related to us sleeping or resting. So don't be surprised if you feel that. But if you feel the opposite of that, if you're having a lot of crazy dreams right now, if you're just struggling to sleep, if your sleep patterns seem to be disruptive, if you're having restlessness in your energy or your body that's keeping you from sleep and stillness, that could be due to the eclipse. Whenever we have a solar eclipse, it feels more like a full moon than a new moon. And that's because we have that sudden, lack of solar light and this recharge, our spark of solar light coming back in. And we feel that energy get taken away and brought back, even if we don't see it. We certainly feel it. And in fact, less than 0.002% of the world's population will actually see this eclipse tomorrow. It's about 175,000 people in the entire world have a chance of viewing this eclipse because it goes just over kind of the tips of South America, Chile, Argentina, some of those locations. And there's not a lot of people there. And it's just not a lot of, there's not a lot of people in the location where there's total visibility of that solar eclipse. But regardless of visibility, we will feel that shift in the solar light because we are absolutely connected to the sun. We need the sun to survive. And when that is taken away from us, we feel it. Nature will feel it. Even if you don't see the eclipse, on Wednesday, on October 2nd, at about 1:45 to 1:50 in the afternoon Central Time, just notice what's going on in nature. It might be a little bit more nocturnal outside. Again, you won't notice anything different, but you might hear crickets or frogs or more nocturnal creatures. You might just feel a weird energy, or it might be cloudier than normal. There will be some things that happen globally on Wednesday with the eclipse, no matter what goes on or where you are. So, how do we work with this energy? Well, number one, we slow down. We turn within. We pay more attention to ourselves because if we have discomforts in our body, if we have things going on that we're sensing, we need to tend to that. That's our body and our subtle energy speaking to us, saying, hey, pay attention to me. I'm imbalanced right now. I am not peaceful. Help me feel that peacefulness again. So pay attention to your body and maybe take a little bit more care of yourself, especially if you haven't put yourself as a top priority lately. We have been in Virgo season, which is a season that is more about the self and about the human body, about wellness. But Libra season starts to shift to the external. We start to be more about ourselves and other. Libra is the sign of relationships, very heart ruled. It's an air sign. Air moves through our heart chakra in our energy body. So this is typically an energy where we're thinking about others a lot of times. And as a Libra myself, I can tell you that Libras tend to think about others more than themselves. They tend to make decisions for the best of others more than themselves, if that means peace is perpetuated in an easier fashion. And most of the time it is, or at least that is the perception of the Libra, that they cannot choose what they actually want, what they desire from their heart, because that's not what the collective wants. And as a result, sometimes they put themselves on the back burner. So if that is something that you've been doing, make sure to use this moon to set the intention to find more balance between external, internal, other, self, really making sure to have more balance there. We want to pay attention to how we navigate this week, this eclipse, the next few weeks of this lunar cycle, because we're setting a standard for the next 6 months. And actually, things might change very quickly to adapt to however you're behaving right now. This is again due to the eclipse. Eclipses are like fast forward portals, they accelerate your evolution. They bring you to crossroads and opportunities. And sometimes they give you this chance to reset your karma, but it's always up to you to make the choice. You have free will in this life, and you will be presented with these choices time and time again. There is no right or wrong choice. Perhaps you need to learn the same lesson again, and then maybe you come back around to the eclipse in the spring with Aries and you decide then to make change. Maybe you do need that change to happen right now, and you make a decision to go into the unknown over the next few weeks and really dive into what that can bring you, what that can offer you. We can't have growth, expansion without a little bit of force, pressure, challenge, growing pains. So be prepared for the challenges ahead if you decide to grow one way or another. It doesn't matter how you choose, there will be challenges. There will be things coming with this eclipse, moving us into shadow season, that really make us face our demons and face the darkness. I want to jump over excuse me, really quick. I just want to jump over to the eastern side of the world, and then we're going to come back and discuss some elements as well. But in the eastern side of the world, in Vedic astrology, we are entering a time, or really just on the eastern side of the world, we are entering a time where we are about to celebrate Navaratri, which are the 9 nights of the goddess, or the 9 waxing nights of the moon after this moon. So October 3rd through October 12th, we will be navigating this journey of Durga and these goddesses that were brought about to help restore balance to the earth. Durga is the mother of Kali, and Kali came forth to fight these demons of darkness that the gods could not control. And she is this destructive force. She is that masculine warrior nature in the feminine side, but she can't stay that way forever. She has to set aside her battles and always going full force in order to not burn out. And it's important that we embrace that energy right now as well. If we go full force over the next few months, we're always working on the external, just working ahead, thinking about these goals, but not really taking care of ourselves, then we are going to burn out. And we're not going to have the energy to face all of these challenges that are coming ahead with the shadow season. Now, I've said shadow season a few times, and you might be like, what does that mean? It just means the darker times, right? We're moving to longer, darker, colder nights. It's also what we call spooky season. We're moving into this time of the season of the witch. We have Halloween, Day of the Dead, All Souls Day, All Saints Day, Samhain, all of these celebrations of death and ancestors and liminal spaces. And as we grow into those darker times, we move into even Yule, the celebration of Christmas from a pagan perspective. And all of this is preparing us for the return of the light after solstice, after Yule, when we start to move into those longer days again. And as above, so below, as without, so within. When we navigate darker times in nature and on the external, we also navigate darker times inside. Darker things come out from us, things from our memories that maybe we didn't remember before, lower frequencies, darker moods, more emotion, and just things that we're going to have to work on throughout the next few months. So be prepared for this now. Start putting yourself on a priority list. Make sure that you're, in your self-care practices. Make sure that you're tending to yourself every single day so that you stay centered in your energy, you stay balanced, you stay peaceful, and you can hold on to that peace and access it a little bit easier if you have challenges ahead to come. Now, I'm going to talk more about the Vedic astrology of this moon in a moment, but before we dive even deeper, let's talk about different tools and elements that you can work with right now under this eclipse or during this eclipse portal. These are also great tools to use during this entire lunar cycle. Anytime we are underneath a new moon, the energy, whatever sign is ruling that new moon, sets the energy for the entire lunar cycle, all 28 to 29 and a half days. So you can work with these tools anytime over the next few weeks. It doesn't just have to be right now in the eclipse or in the new moon portal. Also, know that eclipses tend to resonate their energy for quite some time. So you might feel this eclipse up to 5 days before and after the peak of the new moon on Wednesday afternoon. Don't be surprised if you're feeling any of those energies I described before: restlessness, uncertainty, things of the body, choices to make, coming to a crossroads. All of that could come up in the next few weeks or in the next few days. I always like to start with suggesting earthly tools like gemstones and crystals to work with, and that's where I'm going to start tonight. One of the first stones I would suggest working with is rose quartz, just a very simple, very accessible stone, very affordable. Rose quartz works with your heart chakra. It enhances your feelings of agape, metta, unconditional love and acceptance, self-love, self-acceptance. And these are all things we may need right now as we start to prioritize ourselves more. This is also working with our heart space, and Libra energy is ruled by the heart, not only because they are cardinal air, which moves through our heart space elementally and also in our energy body, but also because Libra is ruled by Venus, the planet of love, the planet of relationship, the planet of the heart and passion and sensuality and creativity, aesthetic beauty, and all of that can be found in this rose quartz. So if you're trying to bring that out of you right now, rose quartz can be a great one to work with. Or if you're just trying to balance your heart chakra, you could lie down and rest right now. If you're not getting a lot of sleep, you might want to do more conscious rest like meditation, yoga nidras, just deep relaxations. But if you lie down on your back, you could put this rose quartz right on your heart space. You could also place this under your bed or sleep with it at night. Meditate holding it. Your hands and your arms are an extension of your heart chakra. Many different ways to use rose quartz. You can even put it in your water and drink it, but make sure you have something separating that crystal so it doesn't accidentally go in your mouth. You don't want to choke on it, right? Okay, I also would suggest working with different forms of tourmaline right now. In our previous new moon, or sorry, previous full moon circle devoted to Pisces and that partial lunar eclipse we had, I suggested working with any black stone, including black tourmaline or black moonstone. In this case, I would say to work with any sort of tourmaline, and that's because tourmaline brings in positive energy, it repels negative energy. Black tourmaline here just to get rid of anything. Look at that sheen on there. Really reflecting to you right now. I also am wearing tourmaline on my ring, a ring that my husband gave me when we got engaged. And at the time, I didn't work with crystals or gemstones at all, but I knew I didn't want a diamond. So he got me this beautiful pink tourmaline. And it has always been this really wonderful stone, bringing a lot of positive energy into our marriage. We have all kinds of tourmaline in the world. There's also tourmalinated quartz, and it is this quartz with these little black, looks like little black strands of the black tourmaline in there. But that's another beautiful stone that you could work with as well. All of those tourmalines are related to birth gemstones for Libra. This is a Libra moon, but we are also trying to stay more positive right now as we navigate this intense pressure of the eclipse season. Now, in Vedic astrology, as promised, this moon is in Hasta Nakshatra, and I'll discuss more in a moment. But all you need to know right now is that is ruled by both the moon and the sun. The moon is the ruling planet of Hasta Nakshatra, and Savitar, the sun god, or Surya, the sun god, sometimes is called that, as different names, different places, depending on your belief. But the sun god is also ruling over this lunar mansion. So you might want to bring in sunstone right now, just to bring in that solar energy, or you may want to bring in moonstone right now, or maybe both. I have rainbow moonstone here, but I also have this beautiful black moonstone, and both the moonstone and the sunstone are representing that combination of solar lunar light to give us this reset we need, this cleanse, this time to turn within, this refocus, whatever it is. We're merging masculine and feminine energies. We're really working to find more harmony and peace within us. And using these stones may help you do that. I've got a lot going on in my throat chakra tonight. That is because Mercury is combusted by the sun at 11 degrees of Libra, and this eclipse is happening at 10 degrees of Libra. So Mercury rules our throat chakra. He is also the divine trickster as much as the messenger. So don't be surprised right now if you've got tricky things going on with your throat. In yoga class tonight, I had my students requesting neck and throat stuff, sinus stuff. And yes, I'm here in an area of the country in North America where there's a lot of harvest. So we have that in the air right now, all the dust from the crops. But it is a time when Mercury may be getting a little tricky as well with our ears, nose, and throat. So I've got some throat stuff going on. Don't be surprised if you do too. But if you do, you can definitely use the power of essential oils to help with that. So let's move on to our element of water. And with that, I would suggest working with lemon underneath this eclipse. Now, just for your sinuses, you can smell that straight from the bottle. Throw it in your diffuser, throw a few drops in your water. I love a few drops of lemon in my hot water, kind of like making a hot lemon tea, but using the oil. This brings in more focus. It awakens your senses. It clears your respiratory system, and it initiates detox. So if you are trying to reset with this eclipse, that is the energy an eclipse brings. You might want to have more lemon in your life. Now, you could also use rose, just like we had rose quartz as a crystal to use. Rose essential oil is another way to connect to your heart space. Now, you don't have to have the essential oil. You could work with actual rose flowers, rose petals right now. Maybe you have a rose rock or a rose shaped stone, but it's some other gemstone or crystal. That's okay. Any concept of the rose would be wonderful to work with right now, enhancing that sensation of the heart chakra and also bringing in that Venus energy that rules Libra. But you could anoint yourself with this oil. You could just smell it straight from the bottle. You could put it in your diffuser. I would say to use it sparingly. It is one of the highest frequency oils. It will help to elevate your frequency if you're feeling low, feeling kind of bummed out right now with this moon, or you got any low frequency moody energies going on. But it's also an expensive oil. It takes a lot of rose petals to create rose essential oil, and that's why it is so pricey. So you don't want to waste it. Always make sure that maybe you're using a carrier oil so that you're really adhering that to your skin and not letting it just go out and evaporate into the atmosphere. You don't want to cherish these oils, even though essential oils are a lot more popular right now. We still want to make sure that we're using very sacred oils that are pure and clean, unadulterated. And we also want to be conscious about how we're using those tools in our practice. Now, I don't have any on me right now, but ylang and ling, a ling, ylang ling, whatever you want to call it, that's another beautiful oil to work with right now and great for Libra energy. It has two words of the same, which it brings in that balance situation or brings in that balance energy around Libra right now. But also it is a harmonizing oil, and it is the oil of the heart. So it helps to enhance your heart chakra. If you are feeling low frequency, it will help to elevate you. If you are feeling anxious, irritable, high frequency, like something up here, restless, too much, it will bring you back down into the heart. The heart is our chakra center, our energetic center. So the more we can balance our heart, the more balanced we feel overall. If you're feeling a little shaky or imbalanced right now, maybe use ylang-ylang. And it's another beautiful floral oil that's a great substitute to rose, which is pricier, more valuable. Ylang-ylang is a little bit more affordable. Well, it's not a little bit, it's a lot more affordable. And it's a gentle oil. You can pretty much use it on all ages. Of course, always consult with your care providers before making those decisions, because there are allergies out there. I'm actually allergic to synthetic ylang-ylang, which is used in like pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, all this stuff on crops around me where I live. But the natural version I'm not allergic to, but I'm allergic to cinnamon oil, real deal cinnamon oil. I'm allergic to tea tree oil, melaleuca, the real deal stuff, and the things are highly, highly toxic to me. So just because it's real and natural doesn't mean that you won't have a reaction to it. So always use those carrier oils, dilute, use unadulterated products, really be smart about your oil use and your embracing of aromatherapy. In addition to using the oils, as I've suggested, you could always make yourself a smudging spray. And this is what I'm going to use tonight to smudge our energy instead of our typical smudging stick. I usually do have those around as well. I have no problem with lighting a smudging stick on fire and bringing in that fire element, creating the wind and the smoke that way. But when we utilize essential oils, we're actually bringing in all of the elements as well. We are bringing in the plant, so that is your earth element. We are collecting the oil through steam distillation, which is the fire coming in to collect the water. It is in liquid form for that water element. And also they are used in an aromatic way. They interact with our olfactory system, our senses, our sinuses, and even our limbic system, which is a part of our brain that is related to mood, emotion, and memory. So we go deep when we use essential oils and aromatherapy, and we can absolutely use these to smudge or cleanse and purify our air. A lot of people can't light up smoky things because of where they live. They're worried about setting off smoke detectors. So you can always make a spray instead. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you a little spritz because you are absolutely receiving this energy. It's moving beyond the dimension of space right now. I'm going to spritz me. We're just going to give everything a nice good spritz to cleanse the air. And any oils of choice in that, you could use some lemon, rose, ylang ylang. You could get some sage oil, peppermint. There are patchouli, lots of different options there that you could do. Frankincense is another one to help ease the mood. But making those sprays, they're really nice to have around in your car, in your home, in your workspace. Very quick way to clear the air and just kind of lighten things up. Now, I've already mentioned the fifth element. It is the ether. It is the space we are connecting to digitally. And I love working with the magic of the space. Even if you catch the recording of this circle, it's as if you are here live. You are receiving the energy of all of these wonderful crystals I brought into our circle tonight, as well as the oils. Remember that these oils have a frequency they give off, and we resonate at about 62 to 78 megahertz, but these oils resonate much, much higher in most cases. So we're bringing in the frequency of it. Even if you can't smell it, you're receiving that frequency energy. And everything else that happens here tonight is going to increase in its energy, in its power over time. And that's why I love the ether, among many other reasons. To enhance our circle even more, to create sacred space, enhance these tools, I want to bring in the guides and guardians of the five elements. If you would like to join me, you can close your eyes. You can simply listen here. I'm going to start with a deep breath. And with that breath, I welcome in the guides and guardians of the East with their element of air. We have this cardinal air energy ruling right now with Libra season, also with nature's season of autumn here in the northern hemisphere. We are experiencing a drying out of things. And we know that this is initiating change. We welcome it in as much as we welcome the dawn of a new day. We thank the guides and guardians of the East for being in our circle tonight with their air. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the South with their element of fire coming in a very unique way right now with this total solar eclipse, this combination of sun and moon giving us a possible reset, knowing that the solar energy always helps us burn away what no longer serves. We thank the guides and guardians with their fire from the South for being in our circle tonight. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the West with their element of water. It is here strongly. We are always affected with our waters and the moon, but there is a grand trine in water with this moon. And we bring in all of this energy of emotion, feeling, creativity, sensuality, sexuality, fertility, whatever we need to embrace. We thank the guides and guardians of the West with their water for being in our circle tonight. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the North with their elements of earth through the crystals, gemstones, smudging tools, plants, all the energy we've already utilized, and any magic yet to come to us. We also bring in the energy of our ancestors, their wisdom, helping us to prepare this planet for the generations ahead, helping to heal all of the broken bloodlines, helping us to purify our pedigree. We thank the guides and guardians of the North with their elements of earth and the energy of our ancestors for being in our circle tonight. Finally, we invite in the guides and guardians of the fifth element, the ether, the Akash, the all that ever was, the all that ever will be, the all that is beyond our earthly realms, angels, archangels, deities, some sort of cosmic source energy out there that we cannot explain. We don't even have to label it, but we do invite it in right now to fall upon us in whatever way we need to receive. And we thank the guides and guardians of the ether, the fifth element, for being in our circle tonight. With that, our circle is sacred. It is sealed. It is here for your questions, your curiosities. If you happen to be live, if you're catching the replay, leave a comment. ask a question in whatever way you can. Drop me a question in social media. I'll be sure to answer it best I can. Let's talk a little bit more about this eclipse because we have been working with this energy for quite some time. It started back in the spring of 2023, and we will continue the energy until 2025. We will have one more eclipse in Aries in the spring of 2025, and that will close out this Libra Aries eclipse series that we've been navigating. We will move on to the Pisces Virgo series. Now, we've already had a hint of the energy. 2 weeks ago, we had our full moon in Pisces with a partial eclipse, and we will have this again as we come back around. We will have a partial lunar eclipse in Virgo more in the spring. Well, really, it'll be in the winter time, but we will have that coming up here over the next 6 months to prepare us for that Virgo Pisces series that's coming up over the next 18 months from there. What does all of this mean? Well, number one, if you're a Virgo, you're a Pisces, you're a Libra, you're an Aries, you're going to be affected. And if you're an Aries Libra, you've been affected since probably 2023 or even maybe the fall of 2022, since actual Libra season of 2022. There's been a lot of change that has come up around relationship and also around a little bit of our selfishness, around prioritizing ourselves, how we find the balance between self and other, how we continue to hold on to our heart's desires and our goals and our focus while also maintaining a life in society with our family, with our partners, with our jobs. It's been about finding how it can all come together cohesively. I have certainly seen those types of changes over the past 18 months. I don't know about you, or for the past 2 years, really. And I feel like just collectively, we're all learning to find that balance. But especially in my own life as a Libra, I have felt many opportunities and just many crossroads to get me to a place to really give myself permission for self care, self nurturing, self attention, always tending to myself so that I show up a better human being on the outer world. We might have had to go to battles over the past couple of years. Aries is the cosmic warrior, and an Aries eclipse season is going to bring some challenges with others. We might have found ourselves in conflict quite often, whether we wanted to or not, but hopefully we're on the other side of that now, seeing what that was all about, seeing the benefits of it, seeing how it brought us to where we are now. And we are probably starting to change the way we think about conflict, battles, going to war, any sort of that debate like energy, butting of heads. We're probably starting to learn how to move past that now. Our previous eclipse series was in Taurus and Scorpio, which are both very reactive and very anger ruled. Then we moved into this energy of Aries Libra, and we still had that fire ruling with Aries, but the heart of Libra was coming in. Cosmic Peacemaker has been asking us to make change, to find more peace. And as we move into the Virgo Pisces series, it'll be all about our heart, making sure that everybody's feelings are taken into account. So right now we're preparing for that. We're letting ourselves, our feelings, our emotions be expressed, be heard, be tended to, so that we feel more comfortable with everybody living this way in the very near future. You are also setting up standards for how you want your future to be right now. So, however you treat yourself right now is going to set up the relationship moving forward. However much time you give yourself right now, that's pretty much how it will be for the next 6 months, if not for the next 2 to 3 years. Libra is all about relationship, Aries is about relationship with self. We want to pay attention to those particular highlights to make sure that we are numero uno in all of the things coming forward. Because if we don't allow ourselves to be first priority, we'll let people take advantage of our energy, take control of us. And we've been navigating that. In fact, the past few months have been all about taking back our power, gaining our freedom, refinding that sovereign life, ruling our life as if we're royalty, and really believing that we deserve that and that we're worthy of that. Let's go over to this water energy I mentioned a moment ago, this grand trine in water that is showing up with this moon. Now, the moon is always going to affect our internal side, our waters, our emotions, our feelings, but a grand trine in water is going to make us face that stuff no matter what. We have Saturn in Pisces. And don't forget that Neptune is also in Pisces, and they are both retrograde, spinning backwards. We also have Mars in Cancer, and we have Venus in Scorpio. So our masculine and feminine energy is all about the water, creativity, fertility, sensuality, and feelings, mood, emotion. And then we have Saturn, this planet of life lessons, sort of the contraction planet, the planet of hard knocks. That one's in Pisces right now, the sign of our dreams. We might be getting knocked down with this eclipse in order to redirect more towards our dreams. However, we might also find deep resolution around things that have been challenging us. And now we feel more supported to go after our dreams or go forward towards our dreams. When we have both Jupiter, or sorry, not Jupiter, when we have both Neptune and Saturn together in Pisces, there is a lot of encouragement to dive into what we can't necessarily comprehend, grasp, believe, but we can trust and hold faith that we can actually make it true. So this moon, it's all about saying, hey, I'm a little delulu or a lot. I have these big dreams. I know I can go after them, but I do have to prioritize myself. I have to find more energetic balance. I have to be able to live in this modern day world, maybe have my job, maybe take care of my family, maybe, be involved with people that don't align with this lifestyle and still have this very magical life as well. You can have the both and right now, but you have to believe in it in order for it to come true. You can also start to really work towards your dreams with your hands right now, because in Vedic astrology, this moon is in Hasta Nakshatra, and Hasta means hand in Sanskrit. So this is a lunar mansion that arrives in a constellation that is made up of 5 stars. It's Alpha, Beta, Delta, Gamma, and Epsilon Corvi. They all are Corvi, Corvi. So Alpha Corvi, Corvi, Beta Corvi, Corvi. You get it. But Alpha, Beta, Delta, Gamma, Epsilon Corvi, they are all together in this hand-shaped constellation, and we call that Hasta. This also spans from 10 to 23 degrees of Virgo. Now, on the western side of the world, we have the moon in 10 degrees of Libra. It's always going to be one sign forward in Western, but in Eastern, we're over in the Virgo side of things. And Virgo is an earth sign all about the body. And in particular, Hasta is about embracing this holy vessel that we are. It is time to have source work through us. Maybe that's through our hands, actually making, creating, writing, doing, whatever it is, tending to. Maybe it's using our hands to tend to ourselves. Maybe it's just using this extension of our heart chakra, giving Reiki and energy and love and light, giving more hugs and loving touch, really reaching out, being open to receive, open-minded, open-hearted. All of this openness that we can do with our earthly human body. This is what we need to focus on right now. And the number one way that we can really honor our body and treat it like the holy vessel it is to tend to it, to make sure that it is happy, that it is healthy, that it is energetically balanced, that it is mentally stable, that we're getting enough rest, eating enough food, getting nutritious food, staying hydrated, making sure we're in our creative flow, having fun, being in our imaginative state, having a connection to some sort of spirit or source. All of these things bring about quality of life. And Hasta Nakshatra asks you to find that quality of life in everything that you do. This is an energy that is ruled by the moon and the sun, as mentioned before. In other words, we are harmonizing our lunar and solar sides, our left and right, our masculine and feminine, our internal and external, and we are allowing ourselves to be whole and complete with all of it. Virgo comes from the word virgin, which means one who is whole unto themselves. So, with this moon being in Hasta Nakshatra, get back to yourself, find more balance, find more peace, and do what you can to hold on to that in challenging times ahead. This is pretty much what I have for you for this circle. I did want to give you a little extra tip. If you look into your natal birth chart and you find 10 degrees of Libra, going back to the Western side of the world, look at 10 degrees of Libra and see what whole sign house aligns there. That is going to give you insight on where you need to make change, where you need to analyze your relationships, where you need to find more peace, where you need to let go of judgments. Any qualities of Libra that you can think of, they're going to come around this whole sign house energy and help you to really focus just on that. So, for example, 10 degrees of Libra in my chart aligns with Taurus, and also 21 degrees of Libra, which is what the total eclipse was in last year. That was also in second house for me. Second house is all about your finances, your stability, making sure that you're working on anger management, working to make sure that you are fertile in nature and you're staying creative as much as you are just surviving and taking care of yourself. And I have certainly felt all of those things in the past year. I have certainly become more financially stable. I have gone on many a journey with my career to decide what I want to do to create more of that stability and maintain and hold on to it. We are growing our family right now. No, I am not pregnant, but we are growing our family, and I will announce more soon. We have a lot going on in the world of creativity. I am building something literally with my hands right now that is a dream come true. So all of this is coming around full circle for me in very second house stuff. But wherever it is in your chart, you will probably see great change there as well. Or if you look back over this past year, maybe 2 years, you'll see all of the changes that have happened in that whole sign house to get you to wherever you are today. Now, speaking of guidance, I also have tarot cards for the collective, and I pulled 4 cards this time around. Normally, I do 3 past, present, and future guidance, but this time I wanted to pull an extra card to give you a little bit of more for the eclipse, whatever the cards had to say. So I want to go ahead and give this reading to you now. I just want to take a moment to breathe, maybe grab a drink of water just to clear my throat out. Okay, I'm gonna take my deep breath in and just take a moment to honor these cards and our presence tonight, to thank the tarot for what they have to offer us. Starting with our past card, Ten of Swords. By the way, I'm pulling from the Dali Tarot, Salvador Dali artwork. And this is the fall of Julius Caesar on this card. And really, it's about a different way of doing or thinking, a different mindset, especially. You see the birds on the card. Anytime we have swords, it's about like decision making or thinking, thought process. And birds typically represent the mind as well. When we have the 10 of swords, anytime we have a 10, this is about a new chapter, or it could be endings and beginnings. It could be completely different, or it could be same but different. I always feel like it's a little bit of a transitional same but different, still holding on to a little bit of the past, but trying to move forward into the future. We have certainly felt this as we've moved into Virgo season over this past previous month. Before we hit Libra season, we had a lot of energy helping us to think for ourselves, do for ourselves, learn for ourselves, or maybe just get the ropes of it, get the grain of it, and then go out on our own in a more independent fashion. I really see this card as us having more freedom, more independence, more sovereignty, and more of a craving to rule our life, take back our power. We've been in a Pluto retrograde. We've been in, now Pluto's direct, but we've been in a Pluto retrograde. We've been in a Saturn retrograde. Both of those have to do with power, control, things where we can either give away our energy or we can take it back, take the reins of the horse and really lead the horse where we want it to go. So this 10 of swords right now arriving as our past card reminds us to not attach ourselves to those old ways of thinking, those old mindsets, those old habits, old thought processes that no longer serve. It's time to embrace this new chapter of doing, thinking, decision making. This is also maybe a chance to heal your bloodline and heal some karmic stuff generationally, because eclipses give us the opportunity for that. With this eclipse arriving right on the cusp of our shadow season, our time of liminal spaces, the time when we honor the dead and our ancestors, I do believe that this card is telling us to take action. See this red, take action around making change in our bloodline generationally. For the present card, I pulled the Star card. And it's actually got the Venus symbol on it. And this new moon, this eclipsed moon, is in Libra, which is ruled by Venus. And the reason that the Star card is sometimes represented by Venus is because it's related to the story of Inanna, which is related to Venus's journey in front of the sun, behind the sun, and then past the sun. And Inanna's journey into the underworld, where she strips down all of her belongings, her titles, her jewels, her clothing, literally everything, until she's down to her raw, bare boned self. And with that, she starts to realize what's really important. I believe that this card is asking us to take inventory of our life right now. Notice where we're giving our energy. Are we prioritizing relationships with things, with people, with what's not important instead of ourselves? Can we get back to ourselves? Can we get back into habits that support ourselves, choices that support ourselves? Remember that we are in Hasta Nakshatra with this moon as well. And in Vedic astrology, this Hasta Nakshatra represents not only the hands and how source can work through the hands in a holy way and through the heart chakra in a holy way, but also through the whole earthly human body. Notice how she's holding this vessel and she's pouring from it. It's not an empty vessel. Number one, she is making sure that she is always sustained, nurtured, taken care of, but also she is source as much as source is working through her, and she came from source, and source is above her and around her in the stars, and with that kundalini snake that's slithering off to the side, she also is source, pouring from that vessel endlessly, meaning that your magic is always here. Your connection to source is always here. Your ability to do, to make, to uplift frequency for yourself and others is always here. So embrace that right now during this Libra new moon. Get back to the relationship of yourself with yourself and what that truly means. Go within, meditate. You might not sleep well, but you can get into conscious rest through other ways of connection, hypnosis, just simply listening in stillness, watching what happens, listening to what happens, observing nature around you. There are many ways to connect. For future card, I pulled Page of Wands. We have this gentleman here with his auric field around him. He's also holding this wand that's got a lot of growth. He's super excited about where he is going. And the page always has this ambition along with a little bit of curiosity, a little bit of naivety, which is okay. It's okay to be naive and delulu when you're going after your dreams, or really when you're working your magic. I was just talking to somebody the other day about how I've been in this world for about 13 years now. And when I first started out in this world professionally 13 years ago, it was not as accepted as it is now. When I was talking about chakras, people didn't barely have any idea what I was talking about. When I was talking about astrology, they thought that I was just one of those like woo woo Miss Cleo types, crystal ball fortune teller. But now people are starting to take it more seriously. I'm very supported in what I do. People sometimes ask me, "Oh, what do you do aside from this?" And I go, "Nothing. This is what I do." I'm supported in this. I'm supported in my craft. And the Page of Wands wants that for you. So it is time to embrace a future where you are in your craft, you're in your creative flow, you're in your magic, you believe in it, and it's actually making things happen. It's making you feel good, it's enhancing your life. Perhaps you're on a professional pursuit with it, but there is some sort of gain or profit or return from being in that magic. So right now, the card is just telling you to keep going, that there might be challenging times ahead, but even with that, you can walk through the fire and you can come out unburned. Keep holding on to your dreams and what they can become. Finally, I said, universe, give us one more card for this eclipse, just a little bit more. We got another swords card. This time we got the Two of Swords. And we've got this moon above, almost like an eclipsed moon. There's a bull underneath, which remember we were in the Taurus Scorpio series before this Aries Libra. Now we're in this Aries Libra, which is all about warrior energy with those swords. And we have the Pisces Virgo coming, which is that little moon ahead. Pisces is ruled by the moon as much as it is by Neptune. So this card is saying, hey, right now, you need to pay attention to your feelings. If you can see really close, the gentleman is blindfolded while holding the swords. And remember that swords are decision making. We have the moon up above, again, reminding us of our inner conscious, reminding us of internal self, internal desires, emotions, all of that internal energy, and also a little bit of that feminine side. The swords are being held in a very balanced fashion between the masculine and the feminine. I can see this being a lot about this particular eclipse right now, being in Libra, being in Hasta Nakshatra. And also, there is this reminder to make some decisions moving forward that support your feelings more, that continue to support that balance, support your heart, support the peace. This person is blindfolded. They have no need to see where they're going because they're not at war. This eclipse is about creating peace, setting aside the battles, and trusting that you can have that peaceful life and still be creative, still be artistic, still be fertile moving forward. I love that this is what the tarot has for you, loves, for this eclipsed moon. There's a lot of magic coming, so get ready. Go check out my website or the newsletters coming up, your membership. Go read all about the moon, figure out how to work with it. And I will see you again with our next new moon. New moon in Scorpio coming up on the 1st, but we will meet on October. No, we're not meeting on October 31st. I think we are meeting on the 1st. Now I'll have to look into it because now I'm not going to remember, but I'll get it announced. I'll let you know when we're meeting again. We will skip this full moon in Aries. Thank you for letting me take this little bit of time away, take this time off. I know we've had a lot of time off with the moons, but it lined up this way on this day, and I felt like it had to happen because there's really no other time or day that I could make a moon circle happen around then. So it is what it is. I'm being forced to take time off. I'm going to embrace it, but I hope that you have a beautiful lunar cycle. You have a great full moon in Aries. I'll make sure to let you know how to work with that energy in the 13 Moons membership and with everything that I write and I send out with my emails. May the guides and guardians be with you for as long as you need. I promise you, if they need to leave, they will, but they are also here to stay with you throughout this entire lunar cycle if you need it. Remember that help is always here. You just have to call on it and invite it in. Let's take a deep breath in together. Loka somasta sukino bhavantu. May we all be happy. May we all be healthy and well. Feel balanced, know peace, feel safe. Be loved, love one another. Embrace that true love of metta, agape, unconditional acceptance. And may our actions, intentions, and behavior contribute to the happiness, health, wellness, safety, peace, balance, and love for all. And so it is. And so it already is. And so it mote be. Until next time, blessed be.